Hey everybody, this is Rice Bonds, Montana de Young, back here with you again. Just got a quick video, one card mail day today, Friday. It's kind of in the middle of the night, but just had a really busy week with work, and I figured I would reward myself with a baseball card at the end of the night. Kind of a big one came in today. I usually try to foreshadow what's in these packages by what I have displayed in the backdrop there, and so you might be a little bit confused as to why those two cards appear, but basically my first encounter with 1997 Bowman's Best was right after I started learning about 90s inserts, and one of the first inserts I picked up was a 1997 Bowman's Best mirror image regular refractor, not the atomic version. And I didn't really know what I was doing. It was confusing to me at the time, the difference between an atomic refractor versus a regular, and then obviously mirror image, and then inverted. It was a lot to take in. So I got the wrong one. I was meaning to go for that, and I just got the regular refractor. Probably overpaid for it. Kind of hated it. Just think that the set is really ugly. And early on, I actually traded it away for this exact card, the 1996 Pinnacle Skylines, that a lot of 90s guys like a lot. And I'm actually not a huge fan of this set, as a lot of people know, but it's not because of the shine. I mean, the foil up top is absolutely the best part of this card. So I traded away my regular refractor to a friend in the group, Brant, and he informed me once he received my packet in the mail that actually there was something wrong with the card that I sent. The cards are embossed, and I never knew this because I'd never seen the card in person before. The embossment was offset from the print of the card, so it had this sort of 3D blurry look, and I always thought that that's just how these cards were designed, but it turns out that the print was offset from the actual 3D bumps of the embossment. And it wasn't a big deal. I think that Brant was able to sell it off and not lose a whole bunch of money, maybe even make some. And so eventually I got around to getting that card just because it's kind of a key card, and I've always wanted basically all the cards of Bonds and Griffey on the same card, especially with Griffey in a Mariners uniform. So this one was a must-have just because it's a refractor and relatively rare. I think these are 1 in 96 packs of Hobby, and there's only 10 mirror image cards in the insert set. So these aren't actually that rare or that hard to pull. That's why they don't go for that much, even in a PSA 9. PSA 10 would be a different story. Well, this is a huge day just because what came in is another PS9, except that this is not just the mirror image, this is the inverted mirror image atomic refractor. And so, as you can see here, all that happens is that the superstar goes down here and is relegated to the corner, and the up-and-coming phenom is the one who takes up most of the card. The reverse is true as well. As you can see, Bonds is now relegated to the corner. Andrew Jones is now front and center. I actually don't love these cards. I believe another major Bonds collector once mentioned to me that these atomics were meant to be green, so these were green out of the pack back in the day. Maybe to suggest the sort of green radioactivity of atomic material. I think that's where we're going with this. It's not like one of those 1993 finest situations where there's actually greening after the fact because of either moisture or heat on the card. These cards apparently look like this out the pack. So while the actual reflective and refractive design is really spectacular, the card itself, I don't know, it's busy, it's underwhelming, but this card is such a rare card. There's so little known about this set. There's very little written about it in Baseball Cardpedia for whatever reason. Bonds is even missing. His name is actually missing from the listing of mirror image cards. So they just haven't spent a lot of time on this set. But I do know that this is one of the rarest cards you can get I have no idea how it compares to the 10 card autograph atomic refractor set that also appears. I went online briefly just before this video to see if I could find any of those autographs, and none of them are on eBay, so it's possible that those 1 in 6,000 pulls are even more difficult than this, because I've seen a few of these. These are notoriously difficult to grade just because they all have lines across them. I mean, here in this one you can see that you may or may not be able to see that there's a line that I just noticed for the first time running across here. And so, I mean, I never noticed that before, but as I was talking about this card over here to the seller, a friend of mine, Joe, who collects Griffey, he said that this card was a 9 because of the lines in it. And you can see that there's a line right there. It's a refractor line, and so it's kind of distracting. This is on the Griffey side. What about on the Bond side? Yeah, there's another print line running across there. I don't know if you can see it. But anyway, this set is plagued with these types of condition issues, so it's not really surprising to see a print line go across there. According to Joe, there's only one example of a PSA 10 of this card, and I would like to see it in person because I would be shocked if it was free of lines. And these lines are actually under the laminate surface, so they're part of the printing of the card. I think it must have been as Topps company was trying to figure out how to best implement this type of shine pattern on a card, and they did finally get it right on the 97 finest gold embossed refractors, where you see this kind of shine pattern but just done a lot better. And a lot of those cards are a lot less green looking, although they are also susceptible, like any late Topps refractors before 1999. You have the possibility that your card is going to turn green, whereas this card apparently came out green on day one. I've been going after a lot of the rarest stuff, so you can hear it in my voice that I'm not absolutely over the moon about this, but this is a serious get for the collection. These cards are really hard to come by. These ones here, I sort of thought twice about picking it up on multiple occasions, but finally was persuaded that now was the time to just snag it and sort of knock it off the list. I think it's at the very bottom of my 90s want list, so I can knock another one off. But this is a huge card just in terms of how exceedingly rare it is, even though you can see that line there, and there are other lines elsewhere on the card. It's still a big day for the PC. And the last thing I will say about the rare card is that the cooler player is actually smaller on the card. So this is one of the big reasons that I never went hard after this card, because if you were to ask me if these cards were exactly the same in terms of how rare they were, of course I would prefer this one. I would want to see Bonds and Griffey most prominently put forth. It looks like everybody thinks that the Griffey side is the front of the card, but that's so weird, because I would have guessed, I don't know, I would have guessed that because the legalese is over here, that would have been the back of the card, and that this is the front. But then now I'm looking at the what could be the number of the card, and obviously that's often in the back of the card, so maybe this was indeed the back. Anyways, I always joke that really they reversed it, and this should be the front of the card in both cases. So a long journey from the wrong refractor to a Pinnacle Skylines, which was, you know, an important addition to the collection. So was this, and then ultimately the most difficult Bonds card to get from this set, finally in my hands. I have a few more big ones coming in. I'm looking forward to showing them off sometime soon. So I will see you guys again in not a very long time.